Hey everyone, if you want to make your own podcast but you don't know where to begin, Spotify for Podcasters makes it super easy. They've got everything in one place, it's totally free, and you can make money while doing it. Here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so no matter what your setup is like, you can start doing it today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and pretty much everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also supported, and you can even conduct polls and Q&As. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, the platform is totally free. No catch, totally free. When I wanted to start my own podcast, I did not know where to begin, and I didn't think it was even possible. And Spotify for Podcasters made it happen. They made it easy, they made it quick, and I am doing something that I love. What more can I ask for? So if you're interested in starting your own show, you can do it, and I highly recommend you give this a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Everything Kratom, the podcast about anything and everything Kratom. Great to have you with us on this Tuesday morning. Hoping all is well with you out there today as always. I wanted to talk a little bit about dreams and how Kratom has been affecting my dreams recently. I did do an episode on dreams a long time ago, and so I just wanted to revisit this and see how things have changed. What I've been finding recently, and this was spurred from a few recent experiences, is that when I've taken Kratom recently, I'd say anywhere's around like a half an hour to an hour before bed or closer, you know? So let's make this simple. An hour before bed or closer than that. If I take Kratom, it usually does affect how my dreams go or how they are. It doesn't affect like my ability to sleep, and it doesn't seem to affect how rested I am at the end of sleeping. But what it does seem to affect is the dreaming. And I'll try and be clear about how it does affect these, but it's interesting because since dreams are so like intangible in a lot of ways and abstract, I find it hard to describe how Kratom affects them in a very factual way, but I'm going to try my best. So I have taken anywhere from like 1 to 3 grams of Kratom, and you know, these experiences they vary, but I'm just talking about any experience within an hour of going to bed over the past few weeks. And from those experiences, what I've found to be a common denominator, let's say, is that my dreams are deeper, that they feel heavier, and that they're more muddled. And I'll explain kind of each of those. The deepness, I think that's fairly straightforward. I mean, my dreams are deeper. Not in terms of meaning, so I guess it's not straightforward. Not in terms of meaning, but in terms of, the deepness of my sleep causes my dreams to be stronger, let's say, or have a stronger effect on me. And I think that that's just simply because I'm sleeping deeper, and I don't know why Kratom makes me do that, but it's not that I can't sleep deeply like without Kratom. It's just what I've noticed is it's like doing a swan dive from 10 feet versus, one of those high boards 100 feet up in a cartoon that's over a swimming pool the size of like an inch, that level dive. It's kind of like that. Like I just dive into my dreams and it goes a lot further down than I would otherwise. That's the best way I can explain that. Now, the second aspect that I mentioned was that my dreams feel heavier when I've taken Kratom soon before going to bed. By that, I mean that they feel as though they are carrying more weight. And by weight, I mean, like if I go from one dream to another normally on a normal night with no Kratom, it's like the transition can happen in a number of ways, and I'm not going to necessarily be aware of it. But with like the nights where I've had Kratom pretty soon before going to bed, it's almost as if to transition dreams, it takes more energy because the dreams weigh more and you're moving them around. Or like you're moving from one to another and there are these big strong rocks that you have to break through with a crusher. And so it's like they're heavier, they're more dense, it's difficult, it's harder to get from one to another. And so what I find is like it feels like it takes energy. Like it actually feels like not super draining, but like it feels a little bit draining to go from one storyline to another. Let's say if I'm having one dream about something and then I'm flipping to another one, and when I wake up, I end up having this like very detailed account of which ones I went to in which order, because they stuck out to me, because I was like, oh yeah, that was a tough one to do. Like that was a tough jump to make, you know? And it's like, what? It's a completely new way of viewing dreams for me. So I don't know. It's like they're heavier, you know? I don't know how else to put it. They're heavier. So it takes more effort to go from one to another. And it's not necessarily like a negative thing, but I mean, it's not a positive thing. It's kind of weird that I wake up and I'm like, wow, I just did some work. But anyway, it's not like super draining, you know, like within 1 minute of actually waking up, I don't actually feel anything other than, oh, I just slept, you know? So none of this is meant to make anyone think that like this made my life difficult overnight. It's just that when I wake up, one of the first things I think is that it's like, it was a lot to transition from one dream to another. So sometimes I transition through less dreams in one night, and I think that it's because of that, and it's more difficult to, and I have no idea why. Okay, the last thing, Muddled. This one I think is super interesting. The past few experiences I've had when I've taken Kratom close to the time I go to sleep, forgive the repetitiveness, I have found that the dreams, when it gets into the substantive part of them, they're all over the place. I can't quite keep something together. Even though the dreams themselves carry a lot of weight, like I just explained, and so it's more difficult to jump from one story to another because each one is like, you know, they carry more weight. I don't know how else to put it. At the same time, the story happening within those dreams seem to be a bit more discombobulated. From what if my memory serves, it seems to me like in all these dreams, objects are more dissociated from other objects. There's gaps, there's breaks in between things. At the same time, it's almost like walking through a mud field. It's almost like everything is muddy, sludge. It's not like, you know, actually seeing mud or sludge, but like it's difficult to get through stuff. Like it's difficult to move through it all. And at face value, you know, I might think there's no mystery behind this. Kratom is relaxing my muscles. Maybe I'm sleeping deeper because of that. Maybe it's limiting my movement in my dreams. And so, you know, and our brains already do that so that we don't get up and walk away while we're asleep because we're doing that in a dream. You know, minus a few sleepwalkers out there who are extreme sleepwalkers. And that it's just exemplifying all that. That's possible. Believe me, I've thought through all that. But the interesting thing to me is just how it's every aspect of dreaming. It's not just me, the character in my dreams. It's like the dreams themselves move slower. The things in the dreams are more spread apart. The ability to move through those dreams is more difficult and takes longer. And to transition dreams is muddier or slower or more difficult. And none of this is meant to say, again, that this is a negative experience. But it's just when I wake up, it is so clearly different than when I don't have Kratom next to my dreams. So it's like on a normal day, I'll go to sleep, I'll have a dream, maybe I'll jump through another one. I don't even know I jumped to another dream. I think I've been there the whole time. I hardly ever, become lucid in dreaming. And a few things like that happen. One or two clear things happen maybe that I'll remember when I wake up for 10 minutes, maybe not. And I wake up and go along with my day. And with this, it's like I wake up and I'm like, wow, that was a hard slog. I got through that thing and that thing and that thing, and it took this long, and wow, and that was tough. And I wasn't lucid during all that. Like, I didn't know I was dreaming, but it was like, for some reason, I also kind of knew that I was like going from one storyline to another, and that it was really difficult. And, I wish it was easier to do that earlier and lift that. It's like, what were you lifting? Oh, I was lifting dreams up and moving them around. I don't know. Anyway, it's really interesting stuff to me. I know that it's hard to listen to people talk about their dreams. So if you were bearing with me up until this point, you deserve a medal. But I do think it's interesting, and I don't think that this has always been the way it's affected me. I don't think Kratom's always affected me this way, like right before going to sleep. So I'm going to pay attention to this one. I got to write some notes down about this. But it really does seem to be those three things that happen these days when I do take Kratom close to bed. And if it's been, a little longer than an hour, like if it's been like 2 hours, I don't really think that I've noticed much of any of this happening. So it really is, that's why I know that it's the Kratom. Like, it really is within an hour if I take Kratom in a normal amount, and for me, and then I think about it the next day, you know, I can actively put 2 and 2 together and see a pattern forming. And this is the pattern. So that's what I've been finding. I would love to hear about what you guys experience out there. If you take Kratom, you know, before bed for sleep or for any reason, and you notice that it affects you while you're sleeping or how you sleep, let me know. And if it affects your dreams in particular, please let me know. I'd love to hear about that. It'd be really neat to have like a page, you know, on that Kratom application that I said needs to be created, but that I won't create because I don't know how. One of the pages on there needs to be of just like an ongoing file cabinet of dreams that people have had while on Kratom and how it seems to have affected those dreams. I would love to see that. It'd be so cool. All right, I'm going to stop rambling. Hope everybody's doing well out there today, enjoying December, and we will be back tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.